We just tipped it over. I don't have, like, it was about a foot lower than it is now.
Oh, yeah.
But that's like the max you could move because they're so heavy. And they're really dangerous when they're that big.
Oh, yeah.
If it falls on you,
Oh.
it'll impale you so bad. That's why I don't like giant plants for sale, because they're just dangerous. The most beautiful BMW with leather seats, and I said, I'm not gonna let you do it. I said, you can come back with a truck, and she did. She came back with a truck and got it. But sometimes people are like, just stick it into my car. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna put holes in your car. It's funny that, you know, even these Opuntias will grow by themselves. These are seedlings coming up that fell off the flowers. It's pretty interesting. So this area in here, there was nothing here. I mean, I've been here for 24 years, and 2 years ago I decided we need some more beautiful plants next to the street. So I put an irrigation hose or pipe up here, and we planted this with real drought tolerant desert plants. And in the summertime, this does get water once a week. So it's not that I don't water it, but it does get water once a week. And I wanted to put in some of the more quintessential desert plants. So we got blue agave over here. This is agave desertii, and this grows in central Baja California. Very drought tolerant, and that's a great agave because agave weevils don't eat it, and that's a bug that we have out here.
Oh yeah, interesting.
This is Trichoceros atacamiensis from the Atacama Desert in South America. And it is also a drought tolerant plant, but it likes some summer water. Again, we have the Opuntias, and I wanted a good display area for Opuntias, so we put quite a few different Opuntia varieties and colors in here to really give it some spring color. This one's really neat because it has that purple leaf to it. Again, this is Trichoceros atacamiensis. This one has a giant flower about 10 inches in diameter. It's white with a gold throat, but it's a night blooming cactus. This one will open up right when the sun is going down, and the flower will be completely desiccated and done by the time the sun comes up. So unless you come out here with your headlamp or your flashlight, you're not gonna see it.
You're not gonna see the flower, yes.
No, and it's most likely does that because whatever pollinates it comes out at night, and that could be a moth, it could be a bat, or who knows what.
Okay,
here's another Trichoceros. This is
garden.
Trichoceros sunflower. This is my standard yellow. We always have these available in the nursery. It will probably get about this much taller and continue to clump out. And the bigger they get, the more flower buds you'll get on one plant. This is not North and South America. This is actually a euphorbia. I planted this out here because I kind of wanted to trick a few people. Most people think this is a cactus, but indeed it's actually not a cactus. This plant grows in South Africa, and it's a euphorbia. It's in the euphorbia family. And so it looks just like a cactus, and it's got spines on it, but it does not have the same types of flowers. When you cut it open, if you cut a piece off of it, it will have milky white sap. And something to remember with any succulent that has milky white sap, that's usually poisonous. So you don't want that on your skin. You don't want to rub that on your body. You want to be very careful, wear gloves, and not let any white sap ever get on you.
There's a flower.
So the flowers are right there, they're hiding. It's a pretty plant. It's a very formidable plant. Nothing seems to bother it. And that's because it has that slightly toxic sap. Nothing eats it.
Let's move on.
This is kind of a cool plant. This is Yucca Stevensonii. And I went to Big Bend National Park, And when we left Big Bend National Park, there was all these yuccas out there, and I found one that had seeds on it. So I got some seeds out of a seed pod and then brought them home and decided to grow my own plants. And so I grew this from seed. This is it. This is not from
Wow.
seed. I'm just going to be clear. I did not collect the seed in the park. That would be illegal. I collected the seed outside the park near a town called Marfa, Texas. And it was just on the side of the road. So
How long have you had this growing?
From seed to this, it was about 6 years. They're not really fast to get going, but once they get going, it'll go up. And this plant will actually get a trunk about 10 feet tall and will have big blue-green pom-pom heads. And the flower spike can be 5 feet tall with large 2-inch diameter white flowers. And what's nice about yuccas is, unlike agaves, when they flower, they don't die. They continue to grow and grow and flower and grow and flower. But a lot of agaves will flower and that's it. That main plant dies. So yuccas, you don't have to worry about your plant dying. And I don't know where they came up with the name yucca. Somebody probably ate it and said it was yucca, so I don't know. I don't recommend eating any of these plants. Unless you find it in the grocery store, don't eat it.
Okay, so what made you decide, Brent, to come up with all these drought-tolerant garden in your yard? I mean, this
That's
is
a good question.
Southern California. You can practically
pretty much
grow
grow anything you
anything,
want.
right?
You know, I've always been intrigued by cactus. I think I said in my last interview with you, my first cactus I bought when I was 5 years old. I just always found them unique. And then I learned about what succulents were when I was about 7. And they were just so different than everything else. And they didn't have typical leaves and they didn't grow in the typical way, and they just seemed to be very carefree. And so I just love that nature about the plants. I always say you have 2 thumbs. One's green and one's black. And you have to find the plants that fit your personality. If you like to go out and water all the time, like every afternoon, and that's your thing to relieve stress or whatever it is, you probably don't want cactus because you'll water them too much. But if you want to go out once in a while, check on your plants, and if you neglect them a little bit because you forgot, then cactus are for you. So for me, I have a lot of plants, so I can have a lot of plants because they don't require everyday care. I only have to water them about once a week and once in a while fertilize them, and they're pretty easy to grow. So that appealed to me, and they're just so unique. They're like strange forms and odd shapes and plants that have strange colors that I never saw before. So it really kind of hooked me in. And then when I saw the Trichoceras and the Echinopsis blooming at a nursery, it was a private nursery, and I got in there and I was so overwhelmed with what I saw. I thought, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this before. And the man was nice enough to sell me some of his plants, and I took them home, and then I started researching and finding other places I could get them and just started collecting. I could really go crazy with the Opuntias, but that's just not my thing. I love them, they're pretty, but they have their place in the garden. And they're also a plant you really have to respect.
What is this tall cactus you got?
This is what we call a South American saguaro, and it's actually Trichoceras terschekii. And it can get 30 feet tall with arms, just like a saguaro. So this is still a baby. And this was a plant that I got from OfferUp. Somebody was moving and they didn't want their plant, and there's scars on it. Apparently they have young children that didn't respect the plants and damaged the plant. But
Call this a young baby?
this is a baby plant.
Just to show you how tall this one is. Look, he says this is a young plant.
It will get a lot bigger than this, and they can get over 20 feet. And here's the really crazy part. When this flowers, I'm gonna put that little tiny lobivia onto this.
What?
And it's been done before.
Wow, I would love
Yeah,
love
that's
to
gonna be
see
really
how
different.
that turns out.
Somebody already put an Echinopsis on the Trichoceras terschekii. The biggest plants we have so far are about that big, but they have red flowers all the way down the plant. And it's just unbelievably amazing. So this looks like a saguaro, and you could say it's a South American saguaro, but it's not technically the saguaro that we have in the Southwest in the United States. Opuntias. I love Opuntias, but they don't love me.
What do you mean they don't love you? It looks like they do.
You can't touch these plants. They really will hurt you.
Yeah, but look at all these blooms.
You'll touch it and you'll regret it. But yeah, this is a really beautiful one. I have a friend of mine. He's an avid collector of Opuntias. And he has so many amazing Opuntias. I could fill up my whole entire garden with them.
What do you call this one?
This one is Opuntia. I think it's called Sparkles. I like this one in particular because it's very compact, it's very leafy, it's very green, and the flower bud count is incredibly high. You can see each pad has at least 10 or 12 flowers on each pad. And it's a slow bloomer. So it's been blooming for about 2 weeks now, and it's probably got another 2 weeks to go. So this one's gonna bloom for at least 4 weeks to 6 weeks.
Wow. Okay, sorry, you were telling me about your friend.
Oh, my friend's name is Tom Jesh. He's the owner and operator of Waterwise Botanical Gardens here in Southern California. And he loves Opuntias. It has all of these available in his nursery. And I don't believe he ships, but he has all of these available in his nursery, and he has every one I could ever possibly think of. And he's actually hybridized his own and come up with his own unique colors of Opuntias. But he travels all over the Southwest looking for these things. And Tom was one of my mentors growing up. He's kind of like the Indiana Jones of the cactus world. And he would always go out to remote places in his Jeep or whatever off-road vehicle he has, and he would take a cutting of an Opuntia back and grow it. And he ended up with all these really unique varieties of Opuntias. That one's called Fiesta. This is a really interesting Opuntia.
This is Fiesta.
Fiesta.
Okay.
This is a really unique one. And I couldn't tell you the species of it, but it does have spines, but this one's less dangerous than most. What I like about this is in the wintertime, the hair gets longer. It actually gets long hair in the wintertime, which is a form of insulation from frost. Very
That's
unusual,
interesting.
very hairy. And I've actually seen these at Home Depot. So if you want one, go to Home Depot and look for one.
That's interesting.
There are spines in it, but not like the ones that come off and make you irritable or get in your skin.
Your Opuntias are really blooming at this time.
This is that time of the year when they really want to go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Very pretty. I wanted this to be really like a desert garden with Opuntias. You know, there's very few plants that are quintessential desert plants. And I would say if there's a poster child for a desert plant, it would be the Opuntia. They really do spell drought tolerant, desert, harsh environment. Here's another one up here. I believe this is the same one we were looking at in the back, called Sparkles. Very pretty, very compact. I believe it's called Orange Chiffon.
Orange
Chiffon. Even though it doesn't look orange, it's kind of a peachy pink. I didn't name it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And here's another one. This is a really unusual Opuntia. And it's a beaver tail Opuntia crossed with a Santa Rita form of Opuntia, so they call it Beaver Rita. I didn't name it.
Santa Rita is the one that turns purple.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
And it's crossed with a beaver tail.
Beaver tail is the
So
bluish, and it's more smooth.
Right. So it retains this purple color, has these really wide pads, and it has bright lemon yellow flowers. So you get this really amazing contrast between the burgundy, the blue, and the yellow. It's really pretty.
These are big pads.
They're very big pads.
Like, I don't know how I can describe them to you, but they're big.
Yes, and they're deadly.
big.
So you don't want to come up and hug it or kiss it. You want to keep your distance.
And more Opuntias.
Yeah,
This
this
one
one
has
is
two.
called Margarita. And
But
this is
interesting. It has two different colors
Right.
of flowers.
So when it first opens, it's yellow with a little hint of pink. And as it fades over the course of 3 or 4 days, it turns pink and peach. So when this plant gets bigger, it's going to have like 3 different colors going on at the same time. Very interesting. And again, this is Opuntia margarita, a very festive name. We just had Cinco de Mayo, so that would have been a good one. There's another one up there with the color going on.
Wow. I can see your garden has grown from the last time I was here.
Yeah, it does. That's why if anybody does put a garden in, take a lot of photographs and label what date. And so you can look back at the progress and really see the growth. When you see it every day, you don't notice. But like you haven't been here for 2 years, so now everything looks a lot bigger.
Right.
So I always
It looks
encourage
more
people
fuller
to,
too.
you know, spend the time to take the photographs, print the photographs, make a scrapbook, and just put it together. Have a 2022 scrapbook, a 2023 scrapbook. And I like to have things that are physical instead of all digital, because if you ever did crash your server or lost something, you can't get it back.
Okay, what do you have here growing? I see lots of aloes.
So most of these taller aloes, which are now called allodendron, I'm not so sure I'm buying into the allodendron, but technically there's aloes, and those are low growing and single and clumping varieties, but these tall, what we call tree aloes, have now been put into the allodendron category. So they are aloes, but they're now technically allodendron. So this is what I would have called allodichotoma, but
This
now it's
tall
called
one here?
allodendron dichotoma. And this is allodendron ramosissima.
This one right here.
And what's unique about all these aloes up here is they grow in what we call a winter growing climate. So the water that they normally get is in our winter time. So they don't receive a lot of summer water where they naturally grow. So in the summertime, they actually go dormant and they don't want that much water. In fact, if you overwater them in the summertime, they'll die. So some of these plants can actually go through the entire year without being watered at all. I do water about 3 or 4 times a year, but that's it. So if you want to find me and my nursery, you can go to torchcactus.com, and on torchcactus.com it has my links to my Facebook page. My Facebook page is called Torch Cactus, and that's where I advertise all of my plants and do most of my sales. If you don't do Facebook, you can find my link on torchcactus.com and give me a text, and I'll do my best to get you what you want. So go to torchcactus.com or Facebook at Torch Cactus. And if you want to see all of my flowers, you can go to Instagram at Torch Cactus.
All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much,
Oh,
Brent.
thank you for coming. It's been a
Thank-
nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.